Today we're up in our arena with a little yearling. This is a cruise, Cody's Classic Cruiser yearling, and she's a very smart yearling, and we've enjoyed working with her. She's here for yearling work, and she's been in the round pen. She knows basic round pen work. Now we're up in the arena teaching her to lunge more out in the open. But if you notice, since we're just beginning this, I'm at the corner of the arena and I'm going to let her lunge off these two fences and work off the fence. So she only has two sides where she sort of has to hold herself together. And the thing about these babies lunging, we're going to start very quietly. We're only working 3 circles at the walk and 3 circles at the trot, a turnaround, change directions, 3 circles walk, 3 circles trot, and then we're letting her stop and petting her. And we're going to do that 3 rotations. And you see, we're just letting her move off how she wants to, as quiet as possible. The big thing about teaching the lunge is showing these babies how to hold it together and keep that inside nostril and inside eye looking at them. You're right now, for the rest of the horse's life, you're teaching that circle. And they can't pull their heads, pull their necks, and look to the outside. We're trying to teach her to hold herself in that circle. And so that is, we're going to work at the trot, and we're being very careful to really work with that rope and that halter and make sure that baby bends her head and learns how to come around in that circle. Once these horses start bad habits of running off the lunge line or going in a circle with their nose tipped to the outside, it's a very hard habit to break, even as riding horses. So you see, we got a nice turn. Eileen got a very nice turn there. And so she'll start at the walk, just letting Daisy feel her circle at the walk, and then we'll pick it back up to a trot. We'll do 3 circles and make a turn and then let her rest. We do 3 rotations of right and left circles at the walk and trot. And then we have in hand work that we'll get to here in a minute. And so as Eileen starts her up in a trot, she's going to cluck and sort of just up her energy a little bit as she comes around this circle. So you hear the cluck, and we're asking for a very nice circle. Now, this is the first week this baby has been up here, so I don't want you to think you're looking at a nice finished horse, and you're not, because Eileen's having to do a lot of manipulation with that lunge line and keeping her body curved and her nose tipped to the inside of that circle. That is so, so important. Okay, the next thing we want to do is teach this filly to move her hips. So we're just taking this lunge line, going to the hip, asking her to walk away from the hip. But what we want to see away from the person, the hip moving away from the person, but what we want to see is a crossing of those legs in the back. There you go. And more of a forehand turn with that front end staying still. So we'll go to the other side, and again, we're going to work this 3 times each side. And so we want this filly, and I'm going to close up. See her stepping around, and crossing over, and she pivoted with that front left. And so that's what we want. Now, one of the in-hand things we want to do is teach her the direct rein pull. And you can see we're taking the long lunge line, we're taking it around her hip, and then Eileen will get to the other side, and she can throw it over her hip too. So Eileen, go ahead and throw it. Now go get it. So Eileen is on her right side, so she would want to come to her right side, except she's being pulled from her left. And so that is a direct rein. And so that's what we're teaching. So we're going to do that 3 times on each side. And if the horse just follows you, throw the lunge line over the hip, which is a good sacking out process. Go to the other side and pull. And let the horse come all the way around. The next thing we do is work on a nice walk to trot to walk to whoa transition. Because you shouldn't be pulling a horse around. They should be staying right with your shoulder, whether you're in a faster walk, a walk, or a trot. It's very important that horses learn their space, learn their distance, and that they're not going to jump on you. When you stop walking, that they stop. If you pick up the pace, want them to trot or walk faster, that they're at your shoulder. You're not dragging them around. We work with a little extended dressage whip in the left hand, because if we start dragging instead of pulling harder, we're going to flip that whip and sort of push her from behind. And so I want to see, we have a nice whoa. She's stopping really softly. I really like that. So I want to see a transition to that trot again. And I feel like Eileen's dragging her. So Eileen, I need you to really get her going. You might give her a little tap on her tummy right now. Get her attention, because when those shoulders go, she needs to go. And you're a little ahead of her. That trot right there should be right beside your shoulder. So get her at the walk up there with you. Start at the walk, get her up there. Now the trot. There. That's what we want to see. If she's dragging at the walk, she's certainly not going to be with you at the trot. So that's a very important thing we're teaching these yearlings. To walk well, to walk in their space, not to push over on you, and to walk at your pace. Okay, the next thing we teach is a good backup. And we do this because if they get ahead of you or start to get on you, they really need to back up. But also it's great for them to learn to get off their front end and a feel that they need when they're riding. So what Eileen is doing is facing backwards, looking at her hip, not looking at her feet, and then giving a press release with every backup step. She's sort of pressing with that hand and then having a slight release. There we go. Okay, the last thing that we teach a horse is a haunch turn from the leading side. So we're going to get the horse with us at the walk. We're going to stop. We're going to rebalance the horse's weight to the hind end. And then we're going to walk towards the shoulder, asking for that crossing in the front. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So we're already teaching this filly to redistribute her weight to the hind end and moving when we move towards the shoulder and crossing those front feet and leaving her hind end stable. We got a nice haunch turn, a nice straight line, and a nice use of this little filly's body. And you can see these exercises are not stressful on her, but it gives her something to do, something to learn, a discipline, if you will, and just so much more responsive to the handler, and we should have a lot more response when she starts under saddle. All right, so we'll say goodbye to now. This is Daisy and Eileen.